از آتش غم در غم جانانه بسوخت. سینه از آتش دل در غم جانانه بسوخت. آتشی بود در این خانه که کاشانه بسوخت. تنم از واسطه دوری دلبر بگداخت. جانم از آتش مهر رخ جانانه بسوخت. سوز دلبین که ز بس آتش اشکم دل شمع، سوز دلبین که ز بس آتش اشکم دل شمع، دوش بر من ز سر مهر چو پروانه بسوخت. آشنایی نه غریب است که دل سوز من است، چون من از خویش برفتم دل بیگانه بسوخت. خرقه زهد مرا آب خرابات ببرد، خانه عقل مرا آتش میخانه بسوخت. چون پیاله دلم از توبه که کردم بشکست، چون پیاله دلم از توبه که کردم بشکست، همچو لاله جگرم بیمه و میخانه بسوخت. ماجرا کم کن و بازا که مرا مردم چشم، خرقه از سر در آورد و به شکرانه بسوخت. ترک افسانه بگو حافظ و می نوشتمی، ترک افسانه بگو حافظ و می نوشتمی، که نخفتیم شب و شمع به افسانه بسوخت. Beloved, the chest that housed my heart remains not, for the fire of your love has removed all. Separation burns this body, your supreme magnificence burns this soul. Through the tears of my face dance the fire of your flame. Look, as the butterfly of my being kiss the flame of your candle. I've known this fire since the beginning of the world. Now this house has been fully burned. Only you remain. Only you remain, my love. All my beliefs has been washed away by your divine wine. The kingdom of my mind has been fully burned by your white fire. Shorten this story. Shorten this story, my love, and live no more. Lest the gratitude of my heart remove everything that is not true. Hafiz, live the dream of life and drink my divine, and drink my divine wine once more. Sleep will never return. Sleep will never return, for the candle of my being burns the darkness of this world's illusion.
Om. Namaste. Welcome everyone to this gathering here in Lisbon, and very happy to see so many beings who have come from so varied places to come here for this gathering over the next few days. I feel very happy also that this gathering is taking place here in Lisbon, and that I feel very confident that if you have come with a deep urge within your heart to awaken to that which is truly real, timeless and pure within yourself, I feel that we stand a very good chance for that recognition to occur here. It's a very strong thing to say, but let's see. And so I'd like to welcome you wherever you have come from to this beautiful place, this beautiful, let's call it a room. It will be a room for awakening. And let it be so that if it is within your heart, and if your heart is beating for that recognition, that truth, then may you come to that irrefutable recognition of the self and be timelessly happy and free, so that thereafter all who meet you on the path called life and who are themselves open may be inspired by what you have found, your light and love, openness, wisdom, peace, clarity. And may they be so inspired and touched by your presence and light that they are themselves compelled to search within, to discover the light that they perceive in you, and so find lasting peace and happiness. And may self-discovery become contagious again. Even in our own time. I don't know if you can hear me clearly. At the back you can hear okay? Very good. Okay. So. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Very good. Normally, over the many retreats that we have been privileged to sit through, we have normally invited questions to come, people with doubts and questions to clarify those doubts and to hopefully satisfy the needs of seekers. But what I have found is that in recent times, rather than, because I've heard, as you can imagine, so many people have come with questions concerning their search for truth or their daily life challenges that come and so on. And we are mostly familiar with the kind of questions that emerge or come from this place of largely personhood. And so what I've found is, however diverse the questions appear to be, however different they appear to be, or unique, that they can all be answered by discovering experientially the source of our own self. Now, I do anticipate that questions will come, and they are welcome also. when they do come. But as I say, I want to start at the end. Many of you may already have become a bit familiar with the most recent expressions of these pointings, which is what I would call the invitation to freedom. Can I have a sense of those who have a bit of familiarity with this? So this is already very good. And so what I would like to start with again is in a sense to reintroduce or to recap on what the invitation is, so that we already begin in a place of great advantage, you see. And thereafter, if questions arise, they tend to come with a higher kind of question that doesn't have to go through the entangling forest of the person, and questions that may be emerging more from the place of consciousness. And so we can all draw full benefit from this intensive here in Portugal. So if I were to ask you, if it was presented to you that it is very possible to transcend the psychological or imagined self, I call it the imagined self, the ego self, and to come into a deep experiential discovery of your true nature, would you be up for this?
Yes.
Up there, maybe? You'll be up for this. Very good. And if that offering could be extended and presented to you for today, would you be up for it?
Yes.
Yes. Very good. It is a very strong thing for many people to hear, because many have been on a search for the very thing that I feel we have come here to discover. And I hope that many will come to at least a clarity beyond the arguments of the lower mind somehow today. But it may indeed seem a little strange that such a thing is presented as with such force and such confidence. And I feel it like this because it clearly has arisen from grace, and it has already demonstrated its power in those who have been open to look. And how wonderful that it is not being presented in installments, or as something that now I am saying, okay, if you practice this for the next 6 years or so. But that perhaps from this very evening itself, that you may discover that which is eternal within your own self, which is behind and beyond the facade of personhood. And to such, with such clarity, unarguable clarity, that your life can unfold with so much more grace and wisdom than it would if we continued in the notion of merely personhood. So I'll begin like this to say, let us begin if I were to say someone has approached and asked, I have heard it said that it is possible to awaken to my true nature. I want you to help me, if you can, to guide my mind and my attention to the place where you have discovered to be the original being. Because my life being lived at the level of personhood or ego does not bring lasting satisfaction. My mind is full of projections and dreams that are unfulfilled. If it is possible to receive such guidance, then I welcome this and ask for your guidance. And my response is, well, let's see now. And so, from the room of being, a response comes, please enter, please come in. But as is customary, I say, please leave your shoes outside. And you may say, yes, thank you. I leave my shoes outside. But I say, one more thing while you're doing this, please leave your mind outside. And you say, I know that was the catch. How can I leave that's the very thing I want to do, is to leave my mind outside. And now you're telling me leave my mind. I've been trying to do this without success. I said, don't worry, I don't mean in any heavy way. I simply mean that while you're here, for the short duration of our contact about this, I'm asking you, don't go into any stories about yourself. Don't engage with memory or past. Surely we can do this, even for 15 minutes. It's true or not? Yes, we can simply, I said, okay, it might be there, and by the end of our short exploring together, if you wish to recollect your old stuff, it will be there, right where you left it. So there's no need I'm not here to steal that and to keep it for myself. Okay? So I say, please just don't engage about the past and about your personal story, what you've done, even your spiritual story, such as how many years you've been meditating and where you've been. It's not important. It's not important right now. And questions about the future, or concerns about the future, like what is going to happen and what do you think it will be like in the next few years coming and so on, and the kind of world I would like to live in, or the kind of person I'd like to become. Please, we will not engage about these things. And even presently, what has happened today and how I'm feeling right now, I'm simply going to ask you, don't engage with the mind for a few minutes. Even if it's knocking and saying, what's happening? We go everywhere together, why are you leaving me out now? You say, I'll come back to you, okay? So don't engage with that for this short time together. I will ask you also that any kind of imagination or fantasies about spirituality, about yourself or life and so on, also we don't employ the mind for this also. And we can all do this just for a short time. So what am I really asking is simply to be empty, empty of this concern, even though it may seem that the mind is just sitting next to you waiting. It's okay. It's okay. Simply, you're not going to engage. So any projections about the future, any recollections or memories about the past or the kind of person you imagined yourself to be, we say, we're not going to talk about this. If indeed what you're searching for is your true, your original and pure nature. So, leave all this. I will not be giving you any new concepts, nor will I be asking you to be creative in your thinking, so that you don't need to say, well, I'm not a very artistic or creative person, I can't keep up with the others. So don't worry, none of this will be coming to you. Simply for now, stay in this space of just empty of intention, of judgment, of self-definition. And as I speak, just follow this. With each breath, just sinking deeper and deeper into this natural silence is here. So you're not a container now of any concept. Historyless. Just empty. And watch that sense of waiting. Like, okay, what now? So, no what now. Just remain just empty. No expectations. Just like that. Beyond time, no concern about time. About going somewhere or reaching anything at all. Just as you are now, leaving all this aside, are you not still here? Leaving aside even agenda, hopes, dreams, aspirations, judgments, everything. So what remain here now? That you're not creating, you're simply here. Just a sense of what is. Nothing you create or imagine. All this have been left aside. The senses are functioning according to their own power and laws. Let the perceiving happen. There's no need to suppress that. But what really is here right now? Even the sense of being, that is also perceived. The breath continues to flow. Heart continues to beat. You are not the doer of any activity. You're simply witnessing. So I had to invite you just to this place where you are not combined with anything that you can imagine. Even with the idea you may have held about who you are, even this we have left aside. Empty, beyond even the concept of being empty. Like this. So I had to invite you here because I wanted to check in with you and to ask you a few very simple questions. And there's no need to confer or to connect with anyone else in this room. There's just your own self. And I would ask that you respond also vocally. That which is, which I refer to as the sense of isness, whatever it is that is here now. Is it an object? No. Can it be contacted through the senses of smell or sight? Can it be touched? No. Does it have size or shape? No. Just stay as you are. Is it male or female or anything like this? No. Is it a mood? No. Did you create it? No. Did it come from somewhere? Can it leave? Or fade? No. So if, say, you fell asleep for some time, is it possible that when you wake up, it will have disappeared? Can it be impressed or manipulated by anyone? Here's a good one. Does it depend on your belief? No. Does it have a beginning? Can it have an end? I seem to be hearing one voice more clearly than everyone. But the question is for everyone. Was it born? No. Here's another good one. No. If it was not born, can it die? No. Can it become depressed? Or sick? And if you felt, I really hate this, I just go away. Can it leave? Can there exist a place or space where it is not? So let me see if I'm listening and hearing. It is not an object. It has no size or shape. Could it be captured, like photographed in some way? Could we have an image of it? No. It did not come, and it cannot go. Yeah. It cannot be manipulated. Can it be owned by any group or religion or philosophy or school? No. And you say it does not depend on belief. No. And you didn't make it up, you didn't imagine it? No? Okay. Can it be shown to anybody? You say it was not born and it cannot die. So one last one I ask you. How near is it to you? How? Few centimeters or maybe a meter or kilometer? No distance. No distance. So it's no distance. It cannot, it was not born, it was not, was it created? It cannot die. Is it limited by time? It's not limited by time, it's not limited by belief. It is not an object, the senses cannot touch it. That it is no distance. And so if all these things are true, and it's no distance from you, then all your responses are about you. No distance. How can it be seen? has no shape, has no form. It cannot be photographed. Your belief or disbelief does not affect it. It did not come. It cannot go. Can it be used against anyone? No. It was not born, it cannot die. And there is no distance between that which is looking and that which is somehow perceived. There must be one. Can this be true? Can it be true? Yes. Will it matter if you change your mind now? Sorry, Mooji, I've decided, hold a second or so. It cannot, it was fine until you said, it must be me. It was true until you say, it must be me. And so I take it all back. If it is true, and you're sure you're not imagining this? I have not thrown magic powder in your face and suddenly you're believing all kinds of things. If it is true, let's just take a moment or two just to sit with this. What is the implication of this finding? What is the implication of this discovery? I'm not going to ask you what is going to happen. But if indeed your response is you accept, emerged out of your own seeing, that what you have been revealing, what is revealed through your responses, comes directly from your heart and not something that you are projecting through the mind. Can I say like that? Maybe something is coming from inside that just says, but this doesn't make sense, it cannot make sense. How can I be this? If indeed this is true, not merely believed, is it merely a belief? No. thousands of years, human beings have been coming together meeting in caves and mountain tops, in valleys, in houses, in temples, and to come to terms with who are we? Why am I here? And uncountable numbers of beings have pondered these questions. Many of them found answers that liberated their minds from turmoil, from the turmoil of personhood, from the seeming traumas that come from a life that is heavily conditioned. Many came and found satisfaction and peace. Their bodies are no longer here. We don't know where they are. Now it's our turn. We are the living wave of the human experience. We're alive now. The same question has arisen in our own time, inside the human kingdom. And you have come to find out. What is your place in this? What is the purpose or opportunity of this life? Because it is seeming that many things that we seek and acquire are experienced in time. They dissolve in time. All that we see through the senses and the mind, all that we cherish, including this body, one day will be gone. Is there something that will not be gone? Are you beginning to recognize, feel, and experience what that could be? Beyond intellectual conviction or speculation. And so wonderful because we have not gone into the jungle of the mind. It's been a mind bypass. Well, I can share with you that instead of saying, I believe that is true, I believe in this, perhaps it could be that something continues to explore and confirm the reality of this as one's own reality, beyond belief. And what I can share with you, if you are touched deep within your being by this recognition, it will continue yielding a fruit that keeps getting sweeter and sweeter, but never becomes oversweet. What do you have to do? Work out the mysteries of the universe. Fix the world. I would say something much more simple. Bring your attention to keep resting in your discovery. Let your attention and mind marinate in this discovering. Initially, some resistance may come from the old regime of the person, and the mind may bring up, like, what is this? Is nothing happening here? It's nothing, and I've got things to do, and I have discoveries to make, and adventures to pursue, beautiful things to create. I don't have time to sit around. My advice may seem oversimplistic or even naive, because I'm not presenting you with a lot of spiritual gymnastics or something, but simply to keep your attention here. In the beginning, as I say, some waves or movements from the mind and the sense of person and past may come to bringing a force of distraction, or even fear may come. But if you hold firm in the place of your seeing, then the seeing, the knowing, and the being are one. This will be confirmed. It is not something that you have. It is what you are. And arising from this, as I say, you're not creating, not building, just seeing, deepening, confirming. A very natural unfolding. You may ask, but then what happened to my person? I have a life, I have a family, I have a job. What must I do? Give up my job and go and live in the Himalayas? I say, no. Let everything carry on. Let it happen. But keep your mind inside your heart here. You don't have to speak about it with anyone. But by itself, it will continue to you may call it mature, a kind of maturing may seem to be happening, a deepening. Things that would ordinarily seem like a problem is coming and all these things will seem just to dissolve in front of you. A greater understanding emerging spontaneously out of this realm of being. A deepening peace. Fears diminishing, even though at times it may seem something comes and then it just collapses. And underneath, behind all of this, a real, like a kind of solid emptiness, and unequaled joy and peace. By the number of hands that went up in the beginning, I'm sure many of you can begin to confirm that what I'm speaking is true. Now, it will take a little time for the mind to acclimatize or to stabilize in this understanding and this discovery. But again, you remember, can this become disappointed and say, I'm just going to go. I'm going to leave you now. You're not getting on with it. Is that possible? No. How can you respond to questions like this without conferring or just going along with others what they say, if it were not coming directly from the source of your own being? You didn't say, oh, Mooji, you're going too fast. Let me think. Where did your responses come from? Did you figure it out? Or did you somehow come to see and know it? Like it's already known in you. You did not go to a university for mystics. From your own place, sitting here, some people may feel, I'm not qualified for this type of thing. I don't have a spiritual background. My parents were fishermen, fisher people. We don't know anything. I never went to any church or mosque or temple in my life. So I have good reasons to doubt. No, still from the place, however diverse our expressions may be, the source is one. And yet, within your own being, does it feel claustrophobic? No. As I was saying earlier, it will take a little time because the mind, or you may say, the constructed self, the idea we have of ourselves as a certain momentum, it's going to come back in somehow, of course, and why not? It's coming with its own idiosyncrasies and dramas and projections and fears and so on. Where are you actually in all of this? Are we the person who appears to be enjoying and suffering existence? Is that the fact of who you are? Or could it become, or to be seen, as more the fiction? Or is it that which you are now coming back into seeing is the fiction? And our person is the fact. The sense of the person seems to be an ever-changing self-portrait. Seemingly continuous. But now, in this revealed self, all that appears and arises through the mind and will gradually be seen as the content of the mind, the content of consciousness, the dance of manifestation, appearing in this unchanging awareness beyond belief. I don't want to describe and say, yes, it's going to be like this. No, it's like, no, let's leave a little space for the adventure of your own discovering. Is this a disappointing discovery? No. And as I said earlier, that which you left aside momentarily, of course you can collect. Over the time that is unfolding in front of us, the next few days, which I encourage, in spite of or irrespective of the seeming backlashes from the mind that will come, that I encourage you to stay and put the questions that come up for you and from this, all this will be helpful in verifying and confirming your true place of being. Because such a profound insight is not always easily acceptable to what I call the imagined self. For a long time, we felt that our conditioned identity was our reality, even though it is unstable and brought with it so much sometimes turmoil, unfulfilled promises, restlessness, uneasiness, fears, doubts, and all of this, dreams. From this place of what I called from the isness of your own self, can you be overwhelmed by the waves or the currents of the egoic mind? Not sure? Well, we will have to see, won't we? So, this time and these days will be for this. Perhaps there may be a few people here who, at the beginning of the invitation, may have felt, you know what, I'll just stay here and see what happens to the others. And then find, Mooji, I don't know what you're talking about. It is okay. From time to time, I will again point back to what I call the obvious in ourselves, which sometimes we miss because our attention gets rooted in personhood. But I have a feeling that's going to change profoundly. So are we off to a good start?
Yes.
Very good. I came here and I said, we are going to start at the end. Meaning, instead of going through a lot of concepts and this and that and that, no, where is it all going? Where are all the concepts going? Is it that it's going to some big construct? Let's begin at the end. And what is the end? Timeless. Is that which is, which I refer to as the isness, is it at the mercy of the play of duality? Can anyone respond about this? Sorry? Can I repeat the question? That which is, and I hope you have a clear sense of what this is it affected by the play of duality? No. That's what I'm saying. Thousands of beings throughout this world at various times have been searching for what you are discovering here. How to honor this seeing. Can anything separate you from this? No. If this is this, who are you? Well, we will come more and more to a firm place of seeing. That all that you see or perceive are appearances emerging in the field of consciousness, including the idea we have of who we are, which changes as our focus changes. That also is perceived. Clouds passing. Some slowly, some quickly. Something is not passing. It cannot go because it never came. Do you know this? Yes. In a sense, I said, let's start at the end. But in another way, this end can also be a kind of beginning. Although it is beginningless in itself. Have I gone too far? No. Thank you. This kind of language, you'll become more and more familiar with it. Not because you are skilled in reasoning, but simply that your intuitive and spontaneous knowledge is awake. And seeing is not necessarily the outcome of study, but of intuitive perception. How are you feeling? It's much more than feeling. Feelings come and go. Thoughts come and go. Concepts come and go. Bodies come and go. Does this come and go? And if your mind says, okay, thank you, I got that, bye. No need to come tomorrow, I got it, thank you very much, bye-bye. Or can I have a refund for the next day? A hand is there now. We can. I think there may be a microphone too. There's a hand. Someone putting a hand there.
Namaste, Mooji.
Namaste.
I have one question. When I follow your pointings through the invitation, I feel that I am this that you are pointing us to. And still at the same time, I don't answer the question, was this born or can this die, with yes. I don't seem to be able to answer these questions.
Yes. And you know why? Because because somehow the impression that you are this body-mind that definitely took birth somehow is still quite firmly held somewhere inside. And it has a knowledge that this body will pass. It had a birth.